In Columbus, Ohio, the evening sky was painted in soft shades of orange and gray as Ethan Brooks sat alone at a small cafe near High Street. At 29, Ethan had a decent job, a stable life, and yet an uneasy feeling about relationships. This blind date had been arranged by a friend who insisted he needed to get back out there. Ethan kept checking his phone, wondering if this was a mistake. He wasn't heartless, but he liked things predictable. The quiet clinking of cups and low chatter around him made his thoughts louder. He told himself he'd wait 10 more minutes, then he'd leave if she didn't show. The cafe door opened, letting in a cool breeze. Ethan looked up casually, expecting nothing more than another customer. That's when he saw her. A clear-as-throat young woman entered slowly, guiding a wheelchair with practiced care. Her movements were calm but cautious, as if she was used to people staring. Ethan's chest tightened. This wasn't what he had imagined. His mind raced with unfair thoughts, responsibility, difficulty, things he wasn't prepared for. He looked away for a second, hoping she was meeting someone else. But when she glanced around and met his eyes, he knew this was Lily. Lily Carter was 26, with gentle features and expressive eyes that held both strength and vulnerability. She adjusted her scarf and smiled politely when she recognized Ethan from his profile photo. Ethan forced a smile back, but inside panic set in. He felt exposed, like everyone in the cafe could see his hesitation. He hated himself for it. Still, fear whispered louder than reason. He imagined awkward moments, stares from strangers, questions he didn't know how to ask. His chair scraped slightly as he shifted, half ready to stand up and walk away before things became real. Lily noticed the pause. She had seen it before, the split second where curiosity turned into disappointment. It always hurt, even when she pretended it didn't. After her accident at 16, moments like this became familiar. She took a breath and began rolling toward his table on her own, determined not to give him the chance to disappear quietly. As she approached, the front wheel of her chair caught on a small, uneven tile near the entrance. The chair jolted. She steadied herself quickly, her face calm, but the struggle was visible. That moment froze Ethan. He watched as Lily tried to adjust the wheel without drawing attention. No sigh, no complaint, just quiet determination. Something inside him shifted. He realized how easy it would be to walk away and how heavy that choice would sit on him later. The fear that had gripped him suddenly felt small compared to the dignity in front of him. Ethan stood up, not to leave, but to move closer. His voice was unsure but sincere as he asked if she wanted help. Lily looked up surprised, then nodded. Together they fixed the wheel and shared a small, awkward laugh. The tension softened. Ethan pulled out the chair across from him and sat back down, this time fully present. Lily thanked him and introduced herself properly. Her voice was warm, steady. As they began talking, Ethan noticed how easily she spoke, how her humor slipped naturally into conversation. The wheelchair slowly faded into the background. He learned she worked remotely as a graphic designer and loved old bookstores and late-night coffee. She learned he enjoyed photography and long drives with no destination. Minutes turned into an hour. Ethan found himself relaxed, something he hadn't expected. Lily spoke openly about her accident, a car crash caused by a distracted driver, and how it changed her life overnight. She didn't speak with bitterness, only honesty. Ethan listened, truly listened, realizing how rarely he did that without planning his next response. He felt ashamed of the assumptions he'd made earlier. Lily wasn't fragile. She was resilient in ways he had never needed to be. As the cafe lights dimmed for closing time, neither of them noticed at first. Outside, rain had begun to fall, tapping softly against the windows. Ethan offered to walk Lily to her car. When they stepped out, the rain grew heavier. Without thinking, Ethan took off his jacket and held it above her, shielding her from the cold drops. He was soaked within seconds, but he didn't care. Lily laughed, telling him he didn't have to do that. He shrugged and said it felt like the right thing. When they reached her car, Ethan noticed one of the wheelchair wheels had loosened again. He knelt on the wet pavement to fix. Improperly, Lily protested, worried about his clothes, but he waved it off. Someone across the street paused and quietly recorded the scene. Ethan, kneeling in the rain, focused while Lily watched with a mixture of surprise and emotion. Ethan didn't know it then, but that single moment would soon spread across the internet. For now, it was just two strangers, one choice, and the beginning of something neither had expected. Ethan and Lily stepped out of the cafe into the soft drizzle, the city lights reflecting off the wet pavement of Columbus. The rain had intensified slightly, and Ethan instinctively opened his jacket wider to shield her. Lily looked at him with surprise, a soft laugh escaping her lips. "You really don't have to do this," she said, her voice warm but teasing. Ethan shook his head, smiling sheepishly. "It's not about having to. It just feels right," he replied. They moved slowly toward the parking lot, the sound of their footsteps mingling with the rhythm of the rain. The distance felt insignificant. The awkwardness from earlier had completely dissolved. As they approached her car, Ethan noticed her wheelchair's front wheel wobbling slightly. He knelt down immediately, careful and precise, checking the alignment and tightening the screws. Lily tried to protest, but he waved her off gently. Once the wheelchair was stable, Ethan stood and offered his hand to help her into her car. Lily took it hesitantly, appreciating the care, but also noting the humility behind his actions. They exchanged small talk as she maneuvered the wheelchair closer to her vehicle. Ethan complimented her determination and independence, emphasizing that the wheelchair didn't define her. Lily smiled, touched by his words, and remarked how rare it was for someone to see her as a person first. She shared stories of the challenges she faced daily, from navigating public spaces to dealing with insensitive remarks. Ethan listened intently, sometimes asking questions, sometimes just nodding, absorbing every detail. He realized how privileged he had been, never having faced such obstacles, and he felt a surge of respect for her resilience. As Lily parked, they decided to take a short walk to a nearby park despite the rain. The Kyoto River glistened under the street lights, and the quiet hum of the city provided a peaceful backdrop. They laughed about small things, missed movie nights, awkward online profiles, and embarrassing childhood stories. Ethan noticed the natural flow of conversation. There were no forced pauses or uncomfortable silences. Lily shared her love for sketching, describing how she captured cityscapes and emotions in simple pencil lines. Ethan spoke of his photography, how he tried to capture moments that told stories without words. They realized how much they had in common beyond appearances and circumstances. The rain, which could have been a nuisance, instead created a cocoon-like environment where they could truly connect. At one point, Lily paused near a bench and looked at Ethan. "Do you ever get scared?" she asked softly. He tilted his head, puzzled. "Scared of what?" "Of things changing," she replied. "Of people leaving because they see me differently." Ethan thought for a moment, reflecting on his initial hesitation at the cafe. "Honestly," he admitted, "I was scared when I first saw you. I wasn't sure how to act, how to handle it." Lily studied him quietly, then nodded, a smile forming. "Bravery isn't about not being scared. It's about choosing kindness anyway," she said. Ethan felt a lump in his throat. Her words carried more weight than he could have imagined. It was a lesson he hadn't known he needed. As they continued their walk along the river, the rain lightened into a gentle drizzle. Ethan noticed the occasional passer by glancing at them, some whispering, others smiling knowingly. He felt a strange mix of pride and humility. Lily's courage was apparent in every movement, every word. He understood why he had almost walked away earlier, fear of the unknown. But now that fear seemed insignificant. The world might see a man helping a woman in a wheelchair, but he saw a woman full of life, intelligence, and laughter. Each story she shared revealed layers of strength and humor, painting a portrait of resilience he had never encountered before. The more he listened, the more he admired her, not for sympathy but for authenticity. After some clear-as-throat time, they found shelter under a large oak tree near the riverbank. The night had grown cooler and the rain had stopped entirely. They sat in silence for a moment, simply taking in the view. The city lights shimmered on the water, creating a serene ambience. Ethan broke the silence, asking about her family. Lily spoke about her supportive parents, her mother's insistence on independence, and her younger brother's playful antics. She admitted that sometimes she felt guilty for the attention her disability drew, but her family always reminded her of her worth. Ethan shared bits of his own life, too, though not as intensely. He told her about his work, his quiet weekends, and the friends who kept him grounded. Their stories intertwined seamlessly, creating a sense of comfort and familiarity. As they prepared to leave, Ethan realized how late it had become. He offered to drive Lily home, ensuring her wheelchair was secured safely in the back of his car. During the ride, they continued their conversation, now more relaxed, joking about trivial things like traffic lights and rainy weather. Lily expressed her gratitude for the evening, emphasizing how rare it was to meet someone who truly noticed her beyond her wheelchair. Ethan felt a warmth in his chest, knowing that he had not only overcome his initial fear, but had genuinely connected with someone extraordinary. The evening, which began with hesitation and uncertainty, had transformed into a memorable experience neither of them would forget. By the time they reached Lily's home, the streets were nearly empty, and the quiet of the night enveloped them. Ethan helped her wheel the chair to the doorstep, ensuring everything was stable. She thanked him again, her voice carrying sincerity and appreciation. As they said goodbye, Ethan felt a pang of emotion, realizing that this night had altered his perspective on life, fear, and human connection. Lily waved, smiling warmly, and promised to message him soon. Ethan watched her disappear inside, standing there for a moment, reflecting on the choice he made to stay. That single decision to step forward instead of walk away would ripple beyond that night, eventually reaching countless people through a video someone had captured without their knowledge. Unbeknownst to them, the brief clip of Ethan kneeling in the rain to adjust Lily's wheelchair had already begun circulating on social media. Within hours, hundreds of thousands of viewers had seen it, sharing the story with captions like "kindness," "beyond fear," and "he stayed when he could have walked away." Comments poured in praising Ethan for his empathy and Lily for her courage. Some shared similar personal experiences inspired by their interaction, while Ethan felt uneasy about the sudden attention. Lily embraced it with grace, seeing it as an opportunity to show that moments of genuine kindness could make a difference in the world. The video quickly became viral, spreading across platforms nationwide. The next morning, both Ethan and Lily awoke to dozens of notifications, messages, and friend requests. Media outlets reached out, curious about the story behind the viral clip. Ethan hesitated, unsure if he wanted the spotlight, but Lily encouraged him to see the positive side. "People need to see this," she said. "Not for us, but for the message it carries." Ethan agreed. Interviews were scheduled, though they remained personal, focusing on the encounter, the lesson of empathy, and the importance of seeing people beyond appearances. Each conversation reinforced the truth they had discovered that night. Courage and kindness often intersect when we least expect it. The next morning in Columbus, Ohio, Ethan awoke to a flurry of notifications on his phone. His eyes widened as he saw messages from friends, strangers, and social media, accounts sharing the video from last night. The clip of him kneeling in the rain to fix Lily's wheelchair had gone viral overnight. Thousands of people had already commented, expressing admiration for his actions and praising Lily's strength. At first, Ethan felt uneasy. He never intended for the moment to be recorded, let alone shared with millions. He was a private person, and the sudden attention felt overwhelming. But as he scrolled through the messages, he noticed something more meaningful. Stories from people who had been inspired to act kindly, to help others without hesitation, just because they could. That realization softened his anxiety, replacing it with a quiet pride. He remembered the fear he had felt when he first saw Lily, realizing how far he had come in a single evening. Meanwhile, Lily checked her own phone and saw the same video circulating. Unlike Ethan, she felt a sense of empowerment. People weren't only focusing on her wheelchair. They were acknowledging her resilience and independence, seeing her as more than just her disability. She received messages from young adults and parents of children with disabilities thanking her for representing courage and hope. Lily smiled at the thought that her story could inspire others to embrace life fully despite obstacles. She messaged Ethan with a simple note. "Looks like the world needed to see our evening. Thank you for being brave enough to stay," Ethan replied. Quickly, his words tinged with humility. "I didn't stay for anyone else but you, but I'm glad it matters to them too." Their conversation flowed easily, filled with warmth and laughter, reinforcing the bond that had begun the night before. The media quickly caught wind of the story. News outlets across the United States requested interviews, hoping to highlight the moment of human kindness captured on camera. Ethan and Lily hesitated at first, uncertain whether they wanted to step into the public eye, but after discussing it together, they agreed. This wasn't about fame or recognition. It was about spreading a message. Their first interview was with a local Columbus television station. Sitting side by side, they recounted the events of the rainy evening, emphasizing the simplicity of the act. Ethan spoke candidly about his initial hesitation when he first saw Lily, and how he realized that fear should never dictate kindness. Lily shared her perspective, highlighting her independence and resilience while praising Ethan for seeing her as a person rather than a disability. The interview went viral instantly with millions of views in a matter of hours. As the story spread, both Ethan and Lily received invitations to speak at community events, schools, and charitable organizations. They visited local high schools to share their story, demonstrating the importance of empathy and human connection. Students were captivated by their honesty and the real-life example of courage in action. Many approached them afterward, sharing personal stories of overcoming challenges or fears. Ethan began to understand that the fear he had felt the night before was a common experience, one that prevented people from acting kindly in countless situations. Lily realized the power of visibility. By sharing her life, she could inspire others to see beyond surface-level differences. Together, they discovered a shared mission to encourage small, meaningful acts of kindness everywhere they went. Despite the whirlwind of media attention, both made time to continue their personal connection. Ethan and Lily met for coffee dinners and walks along the Scioto River, exploring the city and learning more about each other's worlds. They spoke about dreams, disappointments, and childhood memories, building a foundation of trust and understanding. The wheelchair, which had initially made Ethan hesitant, became a symbol of resilience rather than limitation. Lily shared stories of the adjustments she had made to live independently, from accessible home modifications to daily routines that required patience and skill. Ethan admired her ingenuity and courage, realizing that the challenges she faced daily were met with dignity and determination. Their bond deepened with every shared story and laugh, moving beyond admiration into genuine affection. Weeks later, Ethan and Lily decided to give an interview for a national talk show. The segment focused not only on their viral moment, but also on the broader impact of kindness in everyday life. The host asked them how they handled fear, judgment, and societal assumptions. Ethan admitted that he had almost walked away when he first saw Lily, a moment of vulnerability that resonated with viewers. Lily emphasized the importance of empathy, explaining that small gestures could make a profound difference in someone's life. The audience reacted with tears, applause, and heartfelt messages. Comments on social media poured in, reinforcing the idea that witnessing kindness often inspired more kindness. The segment became one of the most shared episodes of the season, cementing their story as a national example of humanity and courage. As the days passed, Ethan and Lily returned to a quieter routine away from cameras and microphones. Yet, the impact of that night continued to ripple outward. Ethan received messages from friends, coworkers, and strangers sharing how the story had changed their perspective, motivated them to help others, or simply made them believe in human goodness again. Lily received letters from parents, thanking her for showing children that life could continue fully despite challenges. The attention, while overwhelming at times, had created a community of support and empathy. Both Ethan and Lily realized that a single choice to stay rather than walk away had sparked something far larger than either of them could have imagined. One evening they revisited the park where they had walked in the rain. The air was crisp, and the river sparkled under the street lights, mirroring the night they had first connected. They sat together on a bench, reflecting on the past weeks. Ethan admitted that he was still surprised by how quickly life had shifted from fear to viral attention to a growing movement of kindness. Lily smiled and said, "We didn't plan any of this. We just acted with care and people noticed." Ethan nodded, realizing that authenticity and empathy often resonated more than grand gestures ever could. Their bond felt stronger, built not on viral fame, but on genuine understanding, mutual respect, and shared experience. The night felt magical, serene, and transformative. By the end of the year, the story had reached millions across the United States. News outlets continued to share updates highlighting the ripple effect of kindness and the inspiring example set by Ethan and Lily. They attended community events together, advocating for accessibility, empathy, and human connection. Through social media, local communities organized volunteer initiatives inspired by the viral video. Both understood that their personal story had become a symbol, proof that a single act of compassion could spark awareness and action on a much larger scale. For Ethan, the experience reshaped his understanding of fear and judgment. For Lily, it highlighted the power of resilience and representation. Together, they had sparked a movement, one viral moment at a time. Despite all the attention and opportunities, they remained grounded. They continued meeting privately, sharing laughs, dreams, and quiet moments away from cameras. Their friendship blossomed into a deep connection rooted in authenticity, mutual respect, and the knowledge that they had impacted countless lives together. Ethan no longer felt fear at the sight of difference. Lily no longer felt limited by it. They became a team in the truest sense, partners in life, empathy, and inspiration. The choice Ethan made that rainy evening to kneel and help, instead of walk away, had created a chain reaction that neither of them could have predicted. It was a testament to courage, kindness, and the profound impact of human connection. And as the sun set over Columbus, casting golden reflections on the Scioto River, Ethan and Lily sat together, smiling at the journey they had unknowingly begun. Their story, once a private moment in a small cafe, had grown into a beacon of hope and compassion. Millions across the country would remember the man who didn't walk away and the woman who faced life with unwavering courage. Their lives intertwined by one moment of choice would continue to inspire acts of kindness, reminding the world that fear may pause us, but empathy propels us forward. Through this shared experience, both discovered that true bravery lies not in grand gestures, but in the small, deliberate decisions to act with heart.